holidays. Herman is coming to join us. We're a few minutes late. We're running late. Are you going to shut the door so that we don't have to listen to your music? You're cooking dinner.
I'm working on it.
What's for dinner?
Lobsters.
Lobsters.
We're going to try a new lobster recipe. Maybe we'll enjoy them this time.
We're trying to learn how to cook the lobsters.
I get a lot of lobster and they never really come out great. When somebody else cooks them, they're great. I'm working on it. Anyway.
Tonight's agenda, we're going to play a very.
What you said.
We're going to play a game, and you have no idea what it is.
I have no idea.
So we'll see how that goes. But first, we have to wait until there's more people coming before we start playing the game.
Did you post our Santa stuff?
I posted a photo of our Santa, but the actual reel, we dressed up in Christmas costumes. He was Santa Claus. I was, I don't know, Mrs. Claus, I guess. And we did some filming. So that will be coming on Saturday.
Oh, okay, Saturday.
Yes. It is not publicly yet.
Oh,
it's secret.
Christmas.
If you've gotten to see it, then you're a special person. Okay, we're going to answer a few questions. Then we're going to play our game. First question, Christina. When working on rider position, is it best to focus on one thing at a time or several simultaneously? So many things to attempt to master. What is the best approach?
What I did early on, and still now today, but at the beginning, all the time, I'd start at my feet. I'd go, okay, what are my feet doing? Then my ankles, then my knee, my hips, my shoulders, my elbows, right, my head. And by the time I got to my head, my feet were wrong again. So start back at the bottom and work my way up. And that's how I did it.
But I think you should start with your seat, because your seat is like the most important thing. That your seat, like that you're sitting straight, that you're following.
Okay.
And then work your way, and then back to your seat. But yeah, I think it's important though with your rider position that
So what do? You go to your seat, to your hands, to your feet,
no,
to your head?
seat, leg, hand. But I also think
Shoulders,
there's some things with your rider position, like your alignment, ear, shoulder, hip, heel.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. And then everything else comes after that. And a lot of times I think people focus on their hands, and the problem is actually their seat. So I did a rider position pyramid. I wonder if I have any of those. But basically it goes seat, leg, hand. Oh, here's my rider position pyramid. So rider position basics are your alignment. And then we have seat, leg, hands.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Do you have any tips or exercises to prevent a 4-beat canter? More transitions and more forward. Yes, both those things.
Jumping. Cavalettis, ground poles, jumping.
Yes. Okay. I can't seem to stay in the canter. Is there a secret I don't know about?
It's not so much that it's a secret, but you have to be committed to the idea of going fast. Canter is fast. You have to be okay with going fast. And I know forward isn't fast, but just think, I love going fast. You have to be committed. And if you're tentative, if you're hesitant, your horse is he's going to break.
That's a good one.
That I think that's the thing I see the most.
You have to want it. You have to want your horse to keep going.
And whatever happens, you will insist that he keeps going. And that's a commitment.
Yeah. So, but that's why we're good, because you have your version. I have my version. I think sometimes too, though, like, because I'm riding this young horse right now, and she sometimes breaks out of the canter because she gets out of balance. Like,
right,
because
my young horses do, sure.
Because she gets long and on the forehand and she breaks to the trot. So sometimes it can be good to practice your transitions, like to say, okay, I'm going to canter one circle, and then I'm going to ask my horse to trot, and then I'm going to get organized in the trot, and then I'm going to pick up the canter again. Because if it's just like you keep cantering and your horse is getting strung out and on the forehand, then that's not good either. So sometimes transitions are a really good thing, and make sure that you're not nagging, like that you get your horse to canter and then try to push your heels down, because a lot of people grip and then their horse breaks because they already have their leg on, and so they can't do anything else. Like they can't put any more leg on.
Yeah, you've got to be able to assess really why the horse is breaking. And if it's on young horses, for sure, they lose their balance. And I'm not advocating chasing them back into the canter. Always check your balance. But the majority of the things I see is riders not really wanting to stay in the canter. And whoever said, yes, cavalettis do help with impulsion and building backs.
Okay, next question. This is a good one from Ellie. When dismounting, I've heard and I practice taking my left foot out of the stirrup prior to swinging my leg over. So if the horse takes off, my foot doesn't get stuck in the stirrup. In your opinion, are there pros and cons to this? You recommend keeping the toe of your boot in the left stirrup to dismount. I'm just wondering if one way is better than the other. I think we do this differently.
Right. I take both feet out and vault out of the saddle. I think.
Yeah.
But
That's
I think I'm
probably
the minority.
I think that's the English way, and I do it the Western way.
Where you leave your foot in, but lots of people do, because not everybody can come to the ground like that.
Yeah, but if you leave your foot in the stirrup, it's really important that you get like wiggle your foot out. So like only the very tip of your left toe is in the stirrup, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to swing your leg over and then have one foot stuck in the stirrup and then you like fall over on your butt.
Or in my case, get drugged.
Has that happened to you?
No, the horse, the stirrups were narrow. I was somebody else's saddle, young horse. And I got buck loose out of the tack. I couldn't get my right foot out of the stirrup, and we were cantering down the road. And I just tucked my chin and held my shoulders and bounced on my shoulder until I could get my foot loose.
That sounds terrible.
Hey.
Okay, are you ready for our game?
Okay, let's play a game.
Those of you guys that are watching, you can ask questions. I'll start with some questions I've been brainstorming. Then you guys can ask more questions. Okay. We have props for our game. Do you remember the game? We played it at our wedding.
Yeah, remember the question, who was the better rider? And then you had to lift a shoe.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So the croc.
Here's how the game works. Okay.
I'm obviously the flip-flop.
Yes. She's the big flip-flop. I'm the little croc. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question, and then we raise whoever, like if I raise the croc, that means me. If I raise the shoe, that means him.
And then we'll see if we get the same answer.
Yeah, the shoe game. Okay. First question. Who is the better teacher? I think you're the better teacher.
I get kind of excited and scare people.
And you're really good at explaining things.
I make good pictures. That's true.
You gave me a really good lesson today on Kensington, because we were working on the piaffe, and sometimes I think we all do that. I've seen you do it too. Like when the horse gets stiff, you want to just like seesaw their head around. And while that might be cathartic at the moment, it doesn't really supple your horse.
Yeah.
So we were working on keeping like one bend and making him supple in that bend.
And then you stayed better through.
Okay, someone has a question for us. Which one sits the trot better? Oh my God, really? You think you sit the trot better than me? Why?
I follow more.
Fine. Okay.
I
think you're winning so far. Okay.
We've answered 2 questions.
Okay.
Winning.
Here's another question. Who does Levi love the most?
He used to be my dog when he was the first 4 years. I took him everywhere, but then schedules changed. Now Amelia takes him everywhere, and all I do is bring him food and take him outside. So.
Yeah, it was pretty funny on Sunday. I was doing my lecture with the Stride students, and Herman came home, and the door was open, and Levi like didn't even go out to see him. He was just like, "We're in office hours. This is really important that I'm in the background here."
So that question.
Who piaffes better?
That's that. But then
I piaffe better.
But she asked 2 questions in one.
And who better explains the process. I think I explain it better to the horses and you explain it better to the riders.
Okay. I'll buy that. I'll for sure buy that.
Okay. Who has a higher standard for their horses?
I'm casual. I just like to play with my horses.
Who had the better costume for our Christmas video that's coming?
I did. It was, but
Oh my
somebody
gosh.
gave me the costume.
It
Somebody
was
gave,
so good.
You won't even
You won't even
recognize
recognize
me
him.
because you can't see me.
Yes, you won't even recognize him. Okay. Who is more likely to forget a major piece of gear at an event?
Me?
Yeah.
Really? I'm so anal. I can't say. I'm going with that. Who is? Hey,
who likes to
Herman,
show?
where is Herman? Where is?
Okay,
Honey, where's?
He's been on a mission to organize the tack room at the barn, which is, we have a lot of messy people, myself included. And he says today, there needs to be a place for everything. Everything has to have a place. And I said, honey, it's just not going to be that way.
And
Okay.
Amelia, who likes the show more?
Me.
Yeah.
Okay, I had some other good ones in here. I have to look at my notes. Who drives the truck and trailer better? Tell them the story about the horse trailer. Your truck and trailer.
What?
When we first started dating, he had a truck and trailer.
Yeah. I still have the same truck. I've had that truck for 20 years. It's a Ford F-350 with a diesel motor, 7.3 liter, fabulous truck. And so one day I took it somewhere and they said, "Oh, Amelia let you use her truck." I was like, "Wait, no, that's my truck." But she was going around in many places in my rig, and so somebody thought that she was kind enough to borrow my own truck. I don't. Anyway. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Who is better?
Oh, who knows me?
What?
It says Herman wears flip-flops around horses. Who is that?
That's Gail.
Oh.
Amelia wins the never forgets tack. Okay. I forgot my question now. We were interrupted. Who is better at getting horses to relax? Oh, wait. I held up the wrong shoe.
Yeah.
You are. It was so funny. So when we first started dating, I had this horse named Trump. He was my first Grand Prix horse. And I would kind of think like, you're super loud and like big. I would think that horses would be afraid of you. But anyways, Trump would get so worked up and hot and difficult. And he would get on him and like manage. Well, there was one near-death experience. But then after that, you'd get on him and he'd get like all mellow and chill and relaxed. And I would get on him and he'd get all hot and anxious.
Yes. I'm good with the hot ones. You're good with the cooler ones.
Tell them
fire
about,
them up and I chill them out.
Tell them about Frankie.
Frankie has been a year and some change, and she almost holds the bit.
This is his young horse.
Yeah, and but she doesn't gallop around anymore. It's been a long road, but and I'm seeing light at the end of the tunnel. It's very exciting. And she walks now. And when I got her, I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk on a buckle. I couldn't walk around the property. The thing was lateral and 90 miles an hour. And she's just now starting to carry some weight behind. And in the trot, I can let go of the reins and she'll stay around. And Canada parts are kind of. But she's starting to sit, so I'm excited.
I think, how old is she? 6?
Coming 7, right?
Yeah.
Coming 7. So it's been a year. It'll be a year and a couple months.
Yeah.
I've had her.
But I think it's interesting. Like I'm definitely better at getting horses hotter and sharper. And I think I also I put more pressure on the horses which isn't necessarily good. I mean, there's a balance. Like if you don't put any pressure on your horse, they never move up the levels. But you're definitely better at getting them to relax. And I'm better at like getting more out of them. But then sometimes that comes like for me, it comes at the expense of tension. Like today with Kensington, you're like, he has to relax. He has to breathe softer. Where you get your horses more relaxed, and sometimes you don't like put enough pressure.
Have enough demands on them, and
right.
It's too much. Yeah, let's go surfing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part, because if you don't push your horses, they don't move along the levels. If you push them too hard, you lose the relaxation and the suppleness. So.
Okay, the one who asked who does more groundwork.
Me. You're like, oh, just get on.
I have so much. I just think I'm better in the saddle than I am from the ground, because I should lunge that Frankie, and then that never goes as well as when I ride her. So.
Yes, groundwork is a good thing. I like my groundwork. I've been teaching Luigi to piaffe passage in hand. It's getting good. Okay, who's the cook?
How young?
I would say we already answered that. I would say we're both the cook.
Yeah, I used to do a lot more of the cooking, and now it's more 50-50-ish.
He does. He cooks all the fish and lobster.
And I make a hell of a salad.
I like to cook, I like to eat vegan, so I cook a lot of easy vegetable meals for dinner. Who's developed more Grand Prix horses?
Yeah.
Me. You had Q. You got Q to the Grand Prix.
Q and other Q. I had 2 horses named Q, and they both went to the Grand Prix.
And let's see. I had Trump, Catalina, Geronimo, Natasha.
And now Harvey.
Harvey's almost there.
Yeah.
Almost there. Okay. Oh, I have another one. Who has better geometry? You're like the geometry Nazi.
I'm enthusiastic about my lines and everybody else's lines.
Yes. So when we first,
just think about it. If you guys were on the freeway and people didn't stay in their lane, you would be upset. You have to stay in your lane.
When we first started dating, we were at this barn, and I was starting. It was when I first moved to California, and I had 6 3-year-olds to start. So I had all these completely unbroke horses, and there was this giant jump arena, and he would come and he would ride Q. There wasn't a dressage court set up. He would ride Q, and he would put a perfect dressage court in the middle of this jump arena. And he would do his circles, and you'd see the footprints, and none of the footprints ever went outside of the court. And you could see all the circles and the diagonals. And then I would come in the arena, and it would just be mayhem and all this. Well, I was on unbroke horses.
Well, yeah, no,
I couldn't steer.
There's a time and a place. I know.
But yes, geometry is important because it gets your horse on the 8s. You've taught me that. Geometry and patterns. And I see that a lot from you guys, from my students, especially those of you guys that are in strides with me. When you send me in videos, I want to say, you have to have a plan when you get on your horse. Where are you going? What speed are you going? You can't just get on and wander around. And that's what geometry and patterns and figures, that's what it gives you, is it gives you purpose and it gives you direction. And just by doing that, you get your horse on the 8s. So it's very concrete. Am I going where I'm supposed to be going? And that gets your horse with you and on the 8s. It makes you the leader. It makes you in charge.
That's what it is. It makes you the leader. You say, horse, we're going here. And in the absence of your leadership, bad things will happen.
It's true. Okay. Let's see. What else do I have? I'm running out of good questions. Okay. Who is more loved and wanted on the online video channels? No, you. Everyone loves you. I was reading these surveys from my Strides members again, and they were all the only thing we want is we want more videos with Herman. And this other lady was saying how her son was inspired to ride because of you being on the Q&A. You're inspiring more men into our sport.
there should be more sport. Yeah, see, both of you, it's not one or the other.
The combination.
Yeah, it's not one or the other.
The combination.
But it would be nice to see more dudes riding.
Yeah. Who has more patience with their students? Oh, that's a good one. I definitely have more patience. So whenever he starts to lose his patience with his students, Levi gets up in his lap and like sits on his lap. Like it scares Levi.
Yeah, so Levi's, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I think there's a balance because sometimes, so this is a funny dichotomy between the two of us. So I put more pressure on my horses when I'm riding them. You put more pressure on your students. And there's a balance, I think, because like when you're teaching, you know, it depends on the student. Like some students respond better to that like pressure and some don't. Like I don't like to be yelled at. So, but I do think, for example, if you're in a lesson and you tell your student sit back and nothing happens,
and you say it 17 times.
Right. And so that's part of being an effective teacher is that you have to, for one, as a student, you have to really try to do what your teacher is telling you to do. Like if they say sit back, you have to really put that effort into like, okay, I'm going to sit back. And yeah, if your trainer keeps telling you over and over again to sit back, then maybe you're not sitting back. And that's also where I think video is really helpful because sometimes when you see it, you believe it. Like if your trainer tells you sit back, sit back, sit back, you're like, well, I'm sitting back. But sometimes if you see a photo or a video, then you realize like, wow, I'm really tipping forward. So
yeah, well, they've done the research on that. You know, the video, you will learn 80% faster if you watch your videos. When I first started to ride, my position was so horrible I couldn't stand looking at the videos. So it was a while before I could look at them. Ooh. Yeah.
But 80% faster. I mean, it makes sense though, because we're such
visual. I mean, so much of our brain is dedicated to sight.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, I think we're going to have lobster. What are our Christmas plans? We're going to be blanketing horses, feeding
supplements, and then
our groom is taking the day off. So let us know in the chat what you guys are planning for the holidays. Also, I hope you guys are staying warm. It's like freezing cold in the rest of the country. My mom lives in Colorado. She said it was -5 this morning. So we're enjoying our sunny California. Maybe we will go to the beach.
Yeah, the weather's going to be great
for Sundays. Someone's asking about leg boots. We have a video coming out soon about leg boots.
And no, I haven't really changed my protocol. I think boots are good.
Yeah. Boots offer protection
and support,
but there is some debate that they can heat up the tendons, which is why I like to put the liners under my polo wraps. So let's see, -33 in Montana, freezing in Oregon.
Wow! All right, there's some huge storm. There's some Arctic thing happening. There's a 50-degree drop in the temperature.
Yeah, it's like crazy cold everywhere else. Cheryl says it's -32. Ontario's getting a big storm. Okay, you guys, California is like, it was what, 75 today? It was so beautiful today. Oh, and yesterday was the solstice, which means
summer's
the days are getting longer.
Summer's right around the corner.
Summer is coming.
I know we have to get through winter and spring, but the days are getting longer.
Yes. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful holiday. Stay tuned for our Saturday video, which is very fun. Riding around all dressed up in Christmas stuff. And that's it. Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye.